From MTN News, this is Montana This Morning.
Good Monday morning. It's 6 o'clock. Welcome to Montana This Morning. I'm Victoria Hill. Thank you for starting your day with us.
And I'm Ed McIntosh. As we have kind of a busy weather period going over the course of the next couple of days. We'll start with the first interstate ICAM. We're sitting at a very mild 40 degrees, but also with a very calm wind. It's kind of the calm before the storm, if you will, because we have a chance of showers moving in. Yesterday at 55 for a high, we were experiencing wind gusts that were at 54 miles per hour, 74 mile per hour winds around Livingston, and then check out the strong winds at 69 miles per hour in Livingston and Jordan, 56 miles per hour for you in Miles City and Sheridan, all the way up to 65 mile per hour winds. This morning, it's a little breezy around Cody and Livingston as our next disturbance starts to move closer in. Most of the showers are over in western Montana. You can see a mix of 20s. We're Williston, North Dakota right now, the cool spot at 21, and then it's mainly in the 30s to even 40s across Montana and northern Wyoming. Worland, you're a little cooler at 24. Temperatures here in southern Montana and northern Wyoming are mainly into the 30s and a couple of low 40s, especially in the more wind-prone areas this morning. Billings a decent chance of making up into the 40s by later in the day. A chance of a morning shower. We'll talk more about that in a few minutes after we mention today is the official start of winter.
All right, we welcome in winter with a little rain shower, and that should finish off the rest of the snow that's hanging out on the front lawn.
What little bit is left after those winds really did a job on a lot of the snow yesterday.
Yeah. Our snowman's head and then torso disappeared, and now it's just a big snowball on the ground.
Should we have started this with some sort of a disclaimer that our conversation could be unsettling to some
snow
viewers?
Body. There we go.
Yeah.
Snow body. We're trying to save them, but there was just no hope.
Yeah, okay.
All right, well, enough about that.
I can see you're sad.
Yes, I am.
Deep breath, and here we go.
Deep breath. I'll get to the news.
Okay, thanks.
Ed. Our top story this morning, Congress has finally broken its stalemate on a coronavirus relief package. It comes as the Moderna vaccine becomes available, the second shot in the fight to stop the virus that's killed more than 317,000 Americans. CBS's Deborah Alfarone brings us the latest.
The first doses of Moderna's coronavirus vaccine shipped out of Olive Branch, Mississippi on Sunday. Bound mostly for the arms of healthcare workers and nursing home residents across the country.
I couldn't think of a better honor to do for my father.
Todd Elby's father died from COVID-19 last month. He's a UPS driver now delivering the vaccine.
This has been my most important load that I've hauled. I feel Dad was in the truck with me today.
Moderna's is the second vaccine to be authorized for emergency use by the FDA after Pfizer's earlier this month.
A glimmer of hope that we're racing toward the end of the pandemic as quickly as possible.
After months of gridlock, lawmakers here on Capitol Hill have come to an agreement on a $900 billion coronavirus relief package. The House and Senate are expected to vote on it today.
It is packed with targeted policies that help struggling Americans.
The legislation doesn't go as far as what Congress passed in March. It includes a $600 stimulus check, $300 a week in extended unemployment benefits, and has $284 billion for the Paycheck Protection Program.
Anyone who thinks this bill is enough does not know what's going on in America.
Members of Congress began receiving their vaccine shots last week. President-elect Joe Biden and his wife, Dr. Jill Biden, will get theirs today. Deborah Alfarone, CBS News, Washington.
Yesterday, the CDC recommended that people 75 and older and essential workers like firefighters, teachers, and grocery store workers be next in line for the coronavirus vaccine. The larger hospitals in Montana should get about another 1,000 doses each this week. Because it doesn't require ultra-cold storage, Moderna's vaccine can be sent to some of the more rural hospitals across the state. Montana is supposed to get 18,000 of those doses this week, but where they specifically will go has yet to be announced. Help is on the way for Treasure State nursing homes as part of Pfizer's second wave of vaccines. Over 6,800 doses are on the way to help that vulnerable portion of the population. Just as vaccines begin to offer some hope, a new variant of COVID-19 has been detected in the United Kingdom. It's causing some countries to suspend travel from the UK, but health officials say we shouldn't be too concerned yet. This strain of the virus doesn't make you more seriously ill, but it does spread more readily. Different variants of any virus are normal, and the vaccine will be effective against this strain. Health leaders say there have already been 4,000 mutations since COVID-19 was discovered. In a time when everything is hands-off, what does that mean for learning opportunities that count on the sense of touch? I went to a local children's museum to find out how things have been going since the start of the pandemic and if there's any signs of a rebound in sight.
2020 started off with a bang for Wise Wonders Science and Discovery Museum. Settled into a new, larger location, it all seemed so promising. But then
it was silent. This space reverberates with like laughter and play when the kids are in here. And it was silent.
It was heartbreaking, I'm not going to lie. I mean, we have our board, our staff, everyone had worked so hard to see this space grow.
They made the early decision to close alongside Billings Public Schools. And when one door closed, another opened.
We had the opportunity to sort of limp along and try to do business as usual, or to shift gears and say, well, we know what we want to be a year from now, 2 years from now, so let's start on that vision and start on that focus.
A vision in the making, steered by community input. You don't have to go far or wait long to get a glimpse. It's just a click away on the museum website.
You can actually interact with the pictures that you see. I mean, there's a nice 2D picture there, but you can click on it and actually do a 360-degree revolution of what that space would look like. And if you have VR capabilities, either through goggles or the Google Cardboard glasses, you can actually set that so you can stand in the room and look around and see the space as we envision it.
This new vision promises to have a little something for everyone.
We're big advocates of lifelong learning, curiosity for the sake of curiosity. So we're really shifting our focus onto how do we expand our programming, retain those offerings for the younger age children, but expand into the science, into the technology.
With so much focus on the future, the museum is still keeping its promise to the present, offering virtual homeschooling and interactive weekly challenges online.
If you can have fun learning, you're going to want to continue to do that. And so we are trying to build opportunities of having kids and families and parents come in and engage in ways that not only are they learning, but they're having a great time and wanting to engage more and to explore more.
Although the year didn't exactly begin on a high note, the museum hopes to end it on one. The A.J. Blaine Foundation has offered a $50,000 matching gift through the end of 2020.
I think there's definitely hope on the horizon, and thankfully we have a great leader in Pete who is good at his job and has managed to keep us alive and thriving. And I can say thriving. We aren't barely making it, but with the support of the community and with the work that Pete has been doing and along with our staff, we have managed to have a strong foundation to build on.
A Billings native, Pete sees a need for a museum like Wise Wonders in the community, not just as an option for entertainment, but so much more.
I think it's important to have a trusted source of information, a trusted source of engagement, a place that you can come and learn, be curious, not be afraid to make mistakes, not be afraid to make a mess, and have a few people there to sort of guide you through that process.
If you would like to take part in their virtual homeschool program, the weekly challenges, take the interactive tour, or learn more about the matching gift by the A.J. Blaine Foundation, it can all be found at wisewonders.org. Turning now to other news, at least one person is dead in a fatal crash northeast of Pryor. The accident happened around 6 o'clock yesterday evening on Pryor Creek Road, right on the county line between Yellowstone and Bighorn counties. So far, any information on the crash, including the number of people it involved or how it happened, have yet to be released. The Montana Highway Patrol and the Bureau of Indian Affairs are investigating. Also making headlines this morning, President Trump is not giving up on his fight to overturn election results. His lawyers filed a petition looking to reverse 3 cases in Pennsylvania involving mail-in ballots. It asks the Supreme Court to allow Pennsylvania's General Assembly to pick its own electors. The president is asking the court for a ruling before January 6th, when Congress tallies votes from the Electoral College. However, even if the president won the case, he would still be short too many electoral votes, and Joe Biden would maintain the presidency. Campaigning is heating up as we get closer to the runoff Senate elections in Georgia. Today, Vice President-elect Kamala Harris will spend the day stumping in the Peach State. If Georgia's 2 Democrat candidates win, it will make the Senate exactly 50-50, giving Harris the tie-breaking vote. President Donald Trump is also planning a campaign trip to the state, hoping to keep the Senate in the hands of the GOP. Over the weekend, he tweeted he'll hold a rally in Georgia the night before the election. Airports are getting busy again. Over the weekend, more than 1 million people per day pass through security checkpoints in the U.S. It marks the first time airports have screened that many passengers since after Thanksgiving, when many people were traveling back home. This comes despite warnings from health officials to stay put this holiday season. Meanwhile, every winter, millions of Americans struggle with seasonal affective disorder, also known as SAD. But this year, in the midst of a global pandemic, mental health advocates worry seasonal depression could take a harsher toll. CBS's Naomi Ruckham explains the risks and how to deal with the disorder during this especially dark winter.
Gabrielle Starr was diagnosed with seasonal affective disorder in her late teens.
When I didn't have to go to class in college, I was just like in my bed. I wasn't working out. Like, I would eat at really weird hours. I wasn't sleeping well.
Her symptoms of depression escalate as the season starts to change.
The first month, literally, of daylight savings time being over, my body is totally out of whack.
Doctors are concerned with the pandemic already impacting mental health. Seasonal affective disorder could mean an even darker winter than usual for many. Dr. Craig Sawchuk is a clinical psychologist at Mayo Clinic.
It makes it easier to forge through difficult times when you have a reliable light at the end of the tunnel. Unfortunately, with the pandemic, that light keeps getting pushed further back.
Add unemployment or a sick family member to the mix, and that could make even more people vulnerable to seasonal depression.
You may have folks operating at a little bit more of a deficit, heading into this time of year because of social distancing and really doing the right things from a public health standpoint, but they may already be in more of an isolation kind of mode.
Experts say staying active can help, maintaining a healthy diet, treating with therapy and medication, and finding a good source of light, getting outside, or investing in a special lamp. Gabrielle takes vitamin D, meditates, and practices yoga.
It makes a huge difference in my day. It's sometimes really hard to force myself to do it, but I always feel better.
She also uses an alarm clock that mimics the rising sun. Naomi Ruckham, CBS News, New York.
To get through the season, experts recommend sticking to a routine as much as possible and connecting with loved ones through video chat. And before we take a break, 7 brightly lit teepees line the top of the rims at Swords Park here in Billings. It's a beautiful work of art, but it also has a deeper meaning. The teepees were set up to remember community and tribal members who have passed away from COVID-19. Members of the Rocky Mountain Tribal Leaders Council and the Little Shield Foundation made it all possible. And organizers say it's a morale booster in a difficult year.
Just our way of, as American Indian people, of giving people a ray of hope and support and love during troubled times. And since it's real close to the holidays, of course, we want to not forget about the Creator and what He's done for us. And we want to make sure we can continue to pray for those people that are struggling with COVID-19. And those that have passed away, so we want to honor them as well.
The teepees will stay up until January 3rd.